Good evening and welcome to CYC News for the 27th of January 2019 and the 19th of October 17:35 AM. I'm Bishoy Basilius. In today's headlines, the 3-year-old Iran nuclear deal is fraying quickly. Israel strikes Iranian targets in Damascus. Private electrical system caused fire that killed 22 in California. Australia suffers through searing temperatures as heatwave peaks. Gum infections could be linked to Alzheimer's. And Real Madrid overtake Manchester United as world's richest club. But first, 3 years ago last week, the Iran nuclear deal came into effect, limiting the country's nuclear program in return for sanctions relief. But in the wake of the Trump administration's withdrawal from the agreement, and with relations between Iran and the European Union declining sharply, there is growing doubt it will see its 4th birthday. The EU and Iran are at odds on a range of issues, including Iran's ballistic missile program, attacks and plots against Iranian dissidents in Europe, and slow progress towards relieving the effects of US sanctions. A meeting earlier this month between several European diplomats and the Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Araghchi is reported to have ended in acrimony. Iranian news agency Entekhab, citing anonymous sources, says Araghchi rejected European complaints about the missile program and plots against Iranian dissidents. The news agency quoted him saying, "I thought you have come here to talk about your laxity regarding the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action and terrorists who have been sheltered in Europe and make apologies." Iranian's foreign ministry has not confirmed details of the meeting. Several European countries have alleged that Iran's security services have plotted and assassinated dissidents in Europe. In October, Denmark accused Iranian agents of attempting to carry out a plot to assassinate an Iranian Arab opposition figure on Danish soil. One European Union source said the Iranians must put a stop to attacks in Europe. He said, "We hope they sort it out and don't shoot themselves in the foot. If I were Iran, I would look around and see that Europe is my best friend in a very volatile world." To Syria now, where Israel carried out a series of airstrikes on Monday against Iranian targets in the country. The Israeli military said it was in response to an Iranian missile fired at the Golan Heights, capping off a volatile 24 hours between the two regional enemies, with the possibility of more fighting ahead. The Israel Defense Forces spokesman, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus, said the IDF struck Iranian targets in and around Damascus, including the city's international airport, munitions depots, intelligence sites, and a training camp. Israel relayed a message to Syria that the military was only targeting Iranian forces and warned Syria not to fire at Israeli jets. The wide-ranging strikes were in response to a medium-range surface-to-surface missile fired toward the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Sunday afternoon. On Monday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised Israel would continue to act against Iran's presence in Syria. He said, "We will not ignore such acts of aggression as Iran attempts to entrench itself militarily in Syria and given explicit statements by Iran that it intends to destroy Israel. We are acting against Iran and against the Syrian forces that abet the Iranian aggression. Whoever tries to hurt us, we hurt them. Whoever threatens to destroy us will bear the full responsibility." The head of Iran's Air Force, Brigadier General Aziz Nasrallah, said Iran was growing impatient to fight Israel and promised to destroy the regime. He said, "The young people in the Air Force are fully ready and impatient to confront the Zionist regime and eliminate it from the earth." Israel's military remains on elevated alert in the north, and the ski area in the Golan Heights has been closed, but there are no other restrictions on civilian movement, although it's been hinted that military activity could continue. Over to the United States now, and fire officials in California have said that a blaze which killed 22 people and destroyed more than 5,000 structures in the state 2 years ago was caused by a private electrical system adjacent to a home. A press release from CAL FIRE, the state's forestry and fire protection agency, indicated investigators found no violations of state law or code related to the cause of the 2017 Tubbs fire. The blaze started in Sonoma County on October 8, 2017, burning 36,807 acres and destroying 5,636 structures. It was part of a fire siege that month, where more than 170 blazes burned at least 245,000 acres in Northern California. About 11,000 firefighters from 17 states and Australia helped battle the blazes. To Australia now, where an extreme heatwave already breaking records down under peaked in many parts of the country on Friday, with temperatures staying above 40 degrees Celsius for the 6th day in a row. According to the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, the 6 days from January 12 to 17 are all within Australia's 10 hottest days on record. Marble Bar in northwestern Australia hit the highest temperature during the heatwave at a sweltering 49.1 degrees last Sunday, a January record for the area. The town had seen more than 20 consecutive days of temperatures above 40 degrees. On Wednesday, New South Wales broke 14 heat records and 8 January records. Conditions were so hot in the state that asphalt roads were starting to melt. Bureau of Meteorology climatologist Simon Granger said, "Based on the extent and duration, this is the most significant heatwave to have affected inland eastern Australia since January 1939. As the extended heatwave continues, concerns are with the vulnerable, including the young, the elderly, and those with asthma or respiratory diseases." In some health news, a gum infection was found to be a potential risk factor of Alzheimer's disease, a study published in the journal Science Advances has found. The bacteria Porphyromonas gingivalis, known as PG, leads to the gum infection chronic periodontitis, causing chronic inflammation and potential tooth loss. According to new research by Dr. Stephen Dominy and Casey Lynch, founders of the pharmaceutical firm Cortexine, the same bacteria was also found in 51 out of 53 brain autopsies of Alzheimer's disease patients. Lynch said that her team's publication sheds light on an unexpected driver of Alzheimer's pathology, the bacterium commonly associated with chronic gum disease. The new research observes a highly significant link between Alzheimer's and the oral infection, and it also shows a promising approach to addressing the disease. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, which is characterized by memory loss that gets worse over time. The condition is believed to be caused by a buildup of beta-amyloid plaques and neurofibrillary tangles in the brain. So far, there is no cure for the disease. And in sport, Real Madrid may be struggling on the pitch this season, but they certainly had better luck off it. The Spanish giant, currently third in La Liga, has overtaken Manchester United in the world's football rich list, with record revenues of $852.9 million. Real becomes the only club to top the lucrative table on 12 separate occasions, off the back of its third consecutive UEFA Champions League title last year. According to Deloitte's Football League, Manchester United has slipped to third in the overall rankings, generating $756.5 million, allowing Barcelona to make it a 1-2 for Spanish clubs. Despite average attendance at the Camp Nou dropping last season, Ernesto Valverde's side was able to grow due to new sponsorship deals and its La Liga title success, generating $783.6 million. And that's all for CYC News. A reminder that you can watch this news bulletin again throughout the week on YouTube. I'm Bishoy Basilius from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia. Have a good night.